Hi, ladies. I am just so thankful for you right now because you have really lifted me up today and lifted my spirits, and I really appreciate that. You know, when I posted those videos on here this morning, I know that I was so frustrated and all over the place, and I said that I was whining, and I'm really, I don't know, I feel like I'm such a different person. I mean, I am such a different person than I was a year ago. And my outlook is just so different. And on this journey, you change. A year ago, maybe last June, I was still in the mindset that I would wait until we were 30, or I was 30, to start trying to have kids, because I was like, I have things that I want to get accomplished, things I want to get done. And while I wanted kids so much, I wanted children so much, it just wasn't, for me, I guess I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. No, I'm a perfectionist, and I'm a little bit of a we have a controlling issue. But not to the extent. I'm also very laid back. I mean, I let good friends of mine from work pick out the paint colors for my house, so like in different aspects. I like to be in control of myself. So this whole thing just really shows you that we never have it in our hands, that it is always in God's hands, and that is something that I struggle to remember every single day, and it is something that we'll continue to struggle with every single day. So again, this morning, when I look at myself and think, oh, I'm complaining or I'm whining, it's because I feel like, because I know that I have so much to be blessed for, and I know, or thankful for, and that God's plan is so much more amazing than I could ever imagine, and for my life, and I know He's just lining things up perfectly. I know that we will, one day become parents, and when we do, it is going to be the perfect time. It is going to be it's going to be amazing. And while I walk through this every single day and I struggle with it moment to moment, that's where my hope comes from. And the book that I was talking about earlier, I'm going to address in a little bit, but this new one that I got, I'm such a book freak, is Dear God, Why Can't I Have a Baby? And I found this at the Lifeway Christian bookstore by my work, and it's by Janet Thompson. And this book, in the past literally 24 hours, has just so grounded me again, and it's awesome. So I'm going to go into that a little bit in a minute. I'm going to try to keep this a little shorter. Probably not. It's already 3 minutes. So anyway, thank you so much. By the way, I had written myself a note, by the way, when I'm looking down, I have notes again. I had written myself a note to ask you guys. So when you guys post videos, I don't know if you ever post them from your phone. I can post them right from my phone. And it's a little bit different than going onto your computer and uploading them. So when I go on my phone and do it, where it says, like when you scroll and you're choosing which category to put under, mine always is under comedy, which I find is really funny. Like, I have to go in and actually manually change it on my phone before I upload my video, or else it'll be uploaded under the category of comedy, which I just think is very ironic, because every time I post a video, I'm like, this is not funny. Like, there's nothing funny about this. This is so serious. So anyway, I found that humorous. Ironic. So anyway, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory. I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that I got from some comments, and just to clarify everything, because I know this morning I was a little bit all over the place. And then I'm going to talk about my relationship with my husband and about some future dreams, and then also kind of go back to the book. So I can tell you right now, sorry, all my videos are going to be long. I like to talk. So with that being said, again, if you go and watch my first couple of TTC videos, I know this is only like number 5, but still, I kind of outline our journey a little bit. We had one miscarriage back in January, and where I was kind of going with that, my kind of story of in June, last June, we were, I was kind of under the mindset that I didn't want to get pregnant or whatever. Well, my mindset changed within a matter of months. I was like, okay, I've been on birth control for 15 years. No, sorry, not 15 years, 10 years. Because when I went on it when I was young, because I had really terrible back crampings and back aches during the time of my period. Like, they were just so bad, I couldn't get comfortable, I couldn't move, all of that. So I went on those to make my periods regular and to help with the acne and to help with the pains, you know, the PMS symptoms. So it did a really good job. I never had a problem with the pill. I was always on, I have low iron, so I was on, the first pill I was put on was actually called low estrogen, I believe, and I never had it had an iron supplement, so never had any problems with the pill, ever. I had been on several different birth controls, had switched to like ortho tricycline or whatever, down the line, so never had a problem, never gained weight, never, really had any mood swings, anything like that, so it worked great for me, which might be something that I need to look into. So when I went off of the pill, we had just decided, I was like, I want to go ahead and we'll just see what happens. We were planning on buying a house, which we did in the spring this year, and I was like, so we'll just see what happens, and I trust God, I trust His plans, so we'll just see what was meant to be. So I did that. I went off the pill. I had my yearly gynecological exam. I had a preconception, kind of talk with my OBGYN, which is not the OBGYN I'm seeing anymore, but I had a conversation with him, and we were good to go. I had a baseline sonogram done back in August of last year, so I had one of those done, and they were like, and again, keep in mind, this is when I just came off of birth control pills, so again, my hormones were regulated from that, so they were like, wow, you look great, everything looks great, your ovaries look great. So I was elated. I went home, I was so happy, told Doug that everything was awesome, and we would just see what happens. So the first 2 months off of the birth control pill, I found out on 2 days after Thanksgiving last year that I was pregnant. We were so excited, and then that's where, I won't go into the whole backstory again, but so November is when we found out we were pregnant. Bleeding started 2 days before Christmas, and we went back to the doctor the day before New Year's Eve, and it was a really crappy holiday season, obviously, so my body wasn't processing it. It wasn't taking care of it naturally. I said that I had started bleeding a couple of days before Christmas, and I did, but it was only one time when I went to the bathroom, and the nurses were like, oh, it's probably just whatever, as long as it doesn't get any worse, you're probably fine, and as long as you don't have any really bad cramping. I didn't have any cramping. I didn't have any more bleeding, so my body was holding on to it. Took tons of tests that still said that I was pregnant. Doctor's tests still said I was pregnant, so there is such a thing as being kind of pregnant. Really tough, really just tough beginning to the year, and I'm definitely a different person than I was. So that's kind of where I was going with everything in the beginning, and now I know it's getting to be like 8 minutes long. So anyway, one miscarriage. They were calling it a blighted ovum. So when we went in to have our first ultrasound done, I was supposed to be about, according to my last menstrual period, I was supposed to be about 7 or 8 weeks. Well, I know that my periods aren't regular, so I was like, the dates are probably just wrong. So they dated me at 5 weeks, 4 days. We did see the gestational sac and the yolk sac. So, I believe that life begins at conception. I don't care if it's, what they call a chemical pregnancy, if it's blighted ovum, if it's whatever it is. I believe that there's life there. And so, of course, that was really, really hard to take. So, anyway, I didn't think that we would have this much trouble getting pregnant. I guess in the back of my mind, I had an idea. But again, we got pregnant so quickly, and I didn't attribute it to the fact that I still had birth control pill hormones kind of in my body. Or not in my body, but like my body had been on those, so they were kind of regulated that way. And then once my body took over on its own hormones, it all just went haywire. And I don't know what caused the miscarriage. My body, obviously, the progesterone was fine because it was keeping the pregnancy. It was keeping my body wasn't, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. But anyway, through that and through this past year, and even before then, I just, again, I know I've said it before, but my husband is amazing. He's so amazing, and I am so, so super blessed to have him in my life. A couple of you have mentioned, you know, the stress that it puts on the relationship, even though our relationship is so super strong. It has been tough, and it's been tough for me. We still have wonderful days. We have moments where I will just, you know, need to kind of, I feel like I'm putting all my weight onto him, and I don't want to do that. I know some of you had said that you feel like you're letting your husbands down. I can definitely relate to that. I feel like it's my body. I feel like it's my fault. And he has wanted to be a dad for, you know, since we got married. So, you know, I feel you. And that kind of leads me to the book that I was talking about. If any of you, it was sheer just a God thing that I found this book yesterday, because I went on my lunch break and I just was looking for anything on infertility. And again, you're so emotional looking for things like this that it's like, oh, you don't ask anybody. At least I don't. So I went to Lifeway Christian Bookstore. Barnes & Noble didn't have anything. So I found this book, and I recommend it if you are, I mean, if you're a Christian. This is a book that I find, after looking through a lot of other infertility books, that there isn't a lot of scripture. There's not a lot of that kind of thing dealing with an emotional side. I'm very emotional. I am very, like I said before, keyed into the Word and to, you know, the scripture. And I believe that it's God-breathed, and it has something for every moment. And this book is awesome. It is very true, very, you know, true to life. It's written by a lady who, she experienced infertility. Her daughters did. I really recommend it. And I know I only have a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to share with you a couple of the things that I really liked from it. Just a couple of verses that it just brought me back to earth here. So it's Ephesians 4:16, and it says, "He makes the whole body fit together perfectly. As each part does its own special work, it helps the other parts grow, so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love." And I try to remember that every single day, because God made my body. One of the biggest things that I love is when I go to the beach and I see the ocean and the air and the sand, and I'm just like, if God can do this, and I see the sunsets and the mountain today that I showed you, I'm like, if God can do this, like, He's got it under control. He has this. My life is so small that He's got it, that He has totally got it in His hands. And I remember Isaiah 55 verse 8 that says, you know, my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways. You know, so why would you think that, you know, my plans, you know, are different from your plans? They are. And I remember that all the time. So I've got about a minute to wrap it up. The other verse that I wanted to leave you with is a verse from, Psalm 27, verse 14, and it says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart, and wait for the Lord." And I talked a lot about being frustrated and waiting, and the 2-week wait, and then the wait to ovulate, and then the wait for this and the wait for that. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm impatient. I want it now. We live in this instant gratification, you know, generation, and this convenience, fast food, all of these things. And it takes time. Our bodies take time. Unfortunately, ladies, we are going through things that some of our friends and family may not have to go through. And we may hear things that are hurtful, and people don't understand what we're going through, but we have each other, and I love that. Go to your husbands, talk to your husbands. It's tough. Talk to him when you can, and then let's talk to each other. And I feel like even in the past couple weeks as I've started these, that I feel a lot more weight off my shoulders, and this feels a lot more manageable to me. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm so sorry that these are just so long, and I feel like I'm not even saying anything. So I love you guys, and I will talk with you soon. All right, thank you so much. Bye.